What's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope you all have had a great Sunday. Hope you all have had a great weekend as it's already over. We're about to enter our work week, and the tropics are going to remain a big time topic in the weather world going forward. In fact, some of the long range ensembles and models are starting to show what looks to be an active tropics scenario going forward into the second half of the month, which we've known was likely going to happen, but it looks like it certainly is. There's a growing possibility it is going to happen. I'll briefly show you what I mean here in this video, but we're also talking about Invest 94L. That's going to be the dominant topic in this video. We're really going to focus on that. There's also 93L behind it right here, but we're not going to talk about that one much because model guidance has kind of dropped off on this, even though it's having some convective explosions right now. But we're really going to focus on 94L because right now that's what I think has the chance to develop short term. And then if it doesn't develop short term, it could potentially develop closer to the U.S. where it could potentially have impacts on the U.S. I'm going to talk about that in this video, guys. I do want to mention, I know I've kind of stepped away and the tropics have been a dominant topic in my weather videos. Or right now, that is the dominant weather topic. When you get to this time of the year, it's August. Really locally, meaning the eastern U.S., from Florida up the Maine, Ohio Valley, down to the deep south near Texas. Pretty much the only thing you can talk about is heat, humidity, and daily pop-up showers and storms. One thing I will begin to talk about and look for is late season cold fronts. Late season as in late summer cold fronts. I love fall. I'm a big fall fan. So I will talk about when I start to see that first big time, not big time, but first late summer cold front that will cool us down, give us those fall temp vibes. So I will keep y'all updated with that. But guys, if y'all have any questions about your general location as far as the weather for your specific area, just drop in the comments and I'll definitely answer them. I had somebody comment in my last video talking about I only talk about the tropics. That has been a dominant topic. But right now, we're going to enter a crucial time period coming up where the tropics are going to become threatening. It's just a matter of time. The writing's on the wall, I think. So that being said, let's get going here. If you guys have not subscribed, definitely hit the subscribe button. I've had a lot of growth over the last several days, and I just want to tell you I really appreciate it. It's awesome. And definitely like the video if you like it. And let's get going here. So as you can tell, this is where all of our energy is right here. This is 94L, 93L, and then you have what's left of 92L. That is completely fizzled out now. We're not even going to bring that up anymore. Then you have another tropical wave that really isn't getting much love on any model guidance, but probably because there's some dry air up here, but that is coming off North Africa. We'll get a closer look at 94L. One thing it is it's trying, but two things it's going to fight. It's in kind of low shear right now. There's not a lot of shear affecting it right now. But one thing that is really trying to wrap up, and eventually it might succeed doing so, is dry air is going to wrap up into the storm. If that's the case, any short-term development here, meaning in the next few days, it's going to be unlikely. It's probably going to just remain a tropical wave, maybe a depression at most, and any short-term development into what would be Tropical Storm Fred is unlikely, and that's because there's a ton of dry air. This is dry air right here. This is more moisturized air, if you will, more moist air, and this is what's going on. I know you're looking at this saying, hey, that doesn't look very impressive. But model guidance is really liking this. And the environment down the road, yes, it's going to encounter some strong shear. The environment down the road, maybe closer to the U.S., could promote a tropical development. And I'm going to talk about that in this video. But if you're in the Caribbean islands and you're in the Lesser Antilles, Barbados, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, you're probably going to get some showery, gusty winds from this. No full-fledged tropical storm or hurricane, I don't think. If you're in Jamaica, I know I have a lot of people who comment from Jamaica. I will go on and say up front that I don't think this is going to really affect y'all, but keep paying attention. We're entering the worst part of hurricane season coming up, and threats are not over at all. Just this one specifically, I think y'all might be out in the woods. Not out the woods, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but I think y'all are going to be okay with this system. But we'll see, because it could trend further south and y'all can still get some moisture from this. This is the latest update. There's going to be another update here in the next 30 to 45 minutes, but I don't think a whole lot's going to change. You got two areas. You have 93L, 94L. Let me slow down. I am talking 470 miles per hour. 93L has a 40% chance to develop in the next 5 days. That actually might drop to a 30% chance, I think. And then you have a 50% chance for 94L to develop in the next 2 days here, 5 days here. Here in the next, what is this? Here in the next 2 days, it has a 40% chance to develop. So there is a chance this could get going. But honestly, if I had to make the call right here, I don't think this is going to become a tropical storm anytime soon. I think that it could become a tropical storm as it gets on through the Bahamas and more into more open water. Here you go. Here's the latest model guidance for 94L. Has it cruising. It could interact a lot with land, but it's going to enter an area of some strong shear right here, and I'll show you all that in a second. But check it out here. It has it going through, affecting Puerto Rico, the northern areas of Lesser Antilles. And then eventually, check it out. It's starting to get close to the U.S., Florida, maybe up to Georgia and South Carolina. Very interesting scenario. Now, about half of these models, maybe a little more than half, have this reaching a tropical storm here in the next 24 to 36, 48 hours. And eventually, one or two of them have it make it to hurricane status late next week into next weekend. We're going to be talking about this system possibly for a while. I will mention that. Right now, there's marginal conditions. GFS does a great job of now it does a great job of showing lack of development here. And here you go. This is the latest GFS. This is 94L moving forward. It just looks like an open wave cruising over the Caribbean islands, brings moisture to Puerto Rico, to Dominican Republic, maybe areas of Cuba, maybe a little bit of moisture to Jamaica, but no tropical storm conditions or anything. This thing, the energy finally gets to the southern tip of Florida near the Bahamas. Does it try to get going here? I tell you what, the last 24 hours of GFS runs has showed kind of something like this, where it doesn't really develop at all, and then it gets into next weekend. The energy from it gets around this time next week. That's how long we could potentially be talking about this. Around this time next week, it shows whatever energy is left from 94L and developing into a tropical system potentially, and bringing tropical moisture from Georgia to the Carolinas. And this thing can there's been a couple scenarios that show this. It almost gets jammed under a ridge of high pressure up here in the Northeast and just kind of spins. And as a depression or tropical storm off the coast of the Carolinas, ultimately affecting them. And we're at the end of the run, but we're 252 hours out, which is equivalent to about 10 and a half, 11 days. And this is still in the picture all the way back from right now, which is way over here. It's not moving fast. Steering currents do not look like they're going to promote quick moving speeds or anything. This is the latest HWRF model. I like showing this model every once in a while because sometimes it does a good job because it's very aggressive, and sometimes it picks up on the most aggressive scenario and ends up being right. But here's the latest one. They have an 18Z that comes out in another hour or two. But you get into Monday, it has it reaching a tropical storm by Tuesday morning, going into the Lesser Antilles, and then getting close to Puerto Rico. Just south of Puerto Rico is a hurricane, and getting close to the Dominican Republic, and making landfall actually there as a low-end hurricane as you get into later this week, and then falls apart, interacts with land, and then takes the same path that Elsa took. So it's an interesting scenario. You look at the GEFS ensembles, the GEFS going forward, you notice these little blobs begin to kind of dwindle away. 94L guidance begins to take over. Gets over the islands, shows it widens out the variance a little bit as far as where it's going to form, but then the symbol kind of gets kind of crazy. There is still some guidance to still take this energy into the Gulf of Mexico, especially if this ridge is a little bit more south. That shows the GFS shows it stalling out. Now you look at the latest Euro. Euro has done well with this. It's kept everything from not developing, which has been the case so far, and takes this wave and moves it here. You're getting into Thursday. By Thursday night, Friday, you're definitely being affected in the Bahamas by some tropical wave, tropical depression. And then it takes its tropical moisture into eastern Florida. Maybe probably all of Florida is a tropical wave. You get into Sunday evening, and it looks like it has some kind of strengthening low pressure off the coast of the southeast and probably actually shows about the same thing as the GFS does, and throws a ton of tropical moisture into the Carolinas. And this could be a tropical depression, could be a tropical storm Fred. It's very interesting, but it bogs it down just like the GFS, and it slows down the speed and looks like it dumps a ton of rain on the Carolinas. So this is the interesting thing right here. Going forward, we've all been mentioning the second half of August is going to be extremely active. Well, it looks to be very active. Check out the latest European ensembles here as we are going through in time, and check it out. It's going to be hard to see on these. These little spaghettios are very hard to see on the screen, I know, but it picks up on that tropical development on eastern Florida. But then some of the guidance takes it into the eastern Gulf of Mexico, and then check it all out. Check out all the bubbles. It's going to be very hard to see, I know, but that's all 94L guidance, I believe. And then you get going here in time, and it shows more waves coming off the coast of North Africa. Now this is getting very far out, but look how active it gets. You see all these little circles? That's pretty active. It gets very active. Now check it out. The latest, this basically is the same thing as the SpaghettiOs, but instead it's in kind of line graph form, if you will, and uses lines instead of those SpaghettiOs. But look at all these. It's pretty tightly clustered up all the way through about late week, and then it spreads out a little bit. But whatever tropical moisture comes of this, it has its eyes eventually set on the U.S. Be interesting to see how this unfolds. One thing is, this is our tropical system 94L. There is shear it's going to have to battle, and the fact that it doesn't look like this is going to develop in the short term is going to prevent this from strengthening anytime soon, because it's going to interact with the shear right here. It's going to have to fight through it. Eventually it fights through it, but it's not going to strengthen dealing with all that shear. Eventually it might get into some favorable conditions, but even the shear here just gets insane. So it'll be interesting that even if there is a tropical system right here, if it's more of a right-sided system here. But going forward, it's going to enter some favorable sea surface temperatures. It'll have that working for them. But there's a lot to figure out. And guys, tropics are going to be a big-time topic over the next couple months. Trust me, I love winter just as much as hurricane season. I'm not saying I love it, but it's something for me to talk about to you guys. So that's the update. What you can take away from this video is it's looking like an increasing likelihood that 94L is going to have some sort of impacts on the southeast. Now that could just be tropical rain showers and storms, some gusty winds, or it could be who knows, a strong tropical storm, maybe a low-end hurricane. We just don't know that kind of information yet. But we're starting to figure out a little bit more. I feel like the second half of the weekend we figured out some more things about this. So that's all I got, guys. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for a great weekend of growth and watching my content. And God bless all y'all. And I hope y'all have a great start to your work week tomorrow. That's all I got.